When you see someone suddenly collapse, every second really matters. Your first instinct might be to panic, but what that person needs most is for you to take calm, decisive action. The very first thing you should do is check if the person is responsive. Kneel beside them, tap their shoulder firmly, and shout something clear like, "Are you okay? Can you hear me?" This simple step is your starting line. It helps you figure out if you are dealing with a minor issue, like fainting, or something much more serious, like a sudden cardiac arrest. Your immediate response can totally set the stage for a positive outcome. If the person does not respond, a critical window of opportunity has opened, and you are the one who can make a difference. Do not assume they are just sleeping or have had too much to drink. An unresponsive person is in a state of medical emergency until proven otherwise. Your quick assessment is vital. Look around you. If there are other people nearby, point to one person directly and tell them to call for emergency services. Be specific. You in the blue shirt, call 911 right now and tell them we have an unresponsive person. Taking charge like this ensures help is on the way while you focus on the person in need. Now let's talk about what you might see. The person may be completely still, or they might be making strange, jerky movements. They could also be making gasping sounds, which can be very confusing. It is important to know that these gasps, often called agonal breathing, are not a sign of normal breathing. They are a reflex that happens when the brain is not getting enough oxygen. Think of it as the body's last-ditch effort to breathe. Recognizing that gasping in an unresponsive person is a sign of cardiac arrest is one of the most important things you can learn. It's a red flag telling you that you need to act immediately. So, to recap these first crucial moments, you have approached the person, you have tried to wake them, and they have not responded. You have instructed someone to call for help, or you are preparing to do so yourself. You have noticed that they are either not breathing or are making gasping sounds. This is the moment where your training and your courage come together. You are now moving from being a bystander to being a first responder. The next steps you take are the most important ones in the entire chain of survival, and they will directly impact this person's chance of living. After establishing that the person is unresponsive, your next move is to check for signs of life. This needs to be done quickly, in no more than 10 seconds. You are looking for two specific things, a pulse and normal breathing. To check for a pulse, it is best to use the carotid artery, which is located in the neck. Place 2 fingers, your index and middle finger, on the person's windpipe, then slide them into the groove on the side of the neck. Press gently but firmly. You are feeling for a steady beat. At the same time, you should be looking at their chest to see if it is rising and falling in a normal, regular rhythm. It is absolutely essential to understand the difference between normal breathing and the gasping we mentioned earlier. Normal breathing is quiet, regular, and seems effortless. The chest rises and falls smoothly. Gasping, on the other hand, is a desperate, noisy, and ineffective attempt to breathe. It might look like a fish out of water. If you see this, or if you see no breathing at all, you must assume the person is in cardiac arrest. Do not waste precious time trying to decide if the gasps count as breathing. They do not. This quick 10-second check of pulse and breathing gives you all the information you need to make your next critical decision. In our modern world, we are surrounded by technology and gadgets. Some people might have a small device called a pulse oximeter, which clips onto a finger and measures the oxygen level in the blood, known as SpO2. While this tool is very useful in a hospital setting or for monitoring chronic conditions, it is not the right tool for this emergency. In a cardiac arrest, the heart is not pumping blood effectively. This means blood flow to the fingers is very poor. Trying to get an SpO2 reading will likely fail, or it will give you a dangerously misleading and inaccurate number. It can also take a long time to get a reading, and time is something you simply do not have. Therefore, you must resist the urge to look for a gadget and rely on your own 2 hands and eyes instead. The fundamental skills of checking a pulse and observing breathing are faster, more reliable, and more direct in this specific situation. Focusing on these basic life support steps is what saves lives. Wasting time trying to get a pulse oximeter to work could mean the difference between life and death. The heart and brain are being starved of oxygen, and the only thing that can help is immediate action based on the simple, clear signs you can assess yourself. No pulse and no normal breathing. If your 10-second check reveals no pulse or only gasping, you must begin chest compressions immediately. This is not a suggestion. It is the single most important action you can take to save the person's life. When a person is in cardiac arrest, their heart has stopped pumping blood effectively. Without blood flow, the brain and other vital organs begin to die within minutes. High-quality chest compressions take over the job of the heart. By pushing hard and fast on the center of the chest, you are manually pumping blood to the brain, keeping it alive until professional help or a defibrillator can arrive. The goal is to start CPR right away. Place the heel of one hand on the center of the person's chest, right on the breastbone. Place your other hand on top of the first and interlock your fingers. With your arms straight and your shoulders directly over your hands, push down hard, compressing the chest about 2 inches or 5 centimeters. Then, let the chest come all the way back up. You need to do this at a rate of 100 to 120 compressions per minute. A good way to keep the right pace is to think of the beat of a familiar song, like "Stayin' Alive" by the Bee Gees. Do not be afraid of hurting the person. The risk of inaction is far greater than the risk of a broken rib. While you are performing CPR, it is crucial that someone calls for help and finds an automated external defibrillator, or AED. An AED is a portable device that can analyze the heart's rhythm and deliver an electric shock or defibrillation to help it re-establish an effective rhythm. Modern AEDs are designed for anyone to use. They provide clear, step-by-step voice instructions. As soon as the AED arrives, turn it on and follow its commands. It will tell you where to place the electrode pads and when to stand clear so it can deliver a shock if needed. Continue with CPR until the AED tells you to stop or until emergency medical personnel take over. The science is very clear on this. Early and effective CPR dramatically increases a person's chances of survival from cardiac arrest. For every minute that passes without CPR, the chance of survival drops by about 10%. Your actions in those first few minutes are a bridge to life. You are keeping the person's brain supplied with oxygenated blood, buying them precious time. Do not delay starting compressions to check for anything else, especially not an SpO2 reading. Your hands on their chest are infinitely more powerful than a number on a small screen. Act fast, push hard, and do not stop. Let's review the simple, powerful steps you can take. When you encounter an unresponsive person, your path is clear. First, check for responsiveness. Tap them and shout. If there is no response, your mission has begun. Second, immediately call for help or delegate that task, and then quickly check for a pulse and normal breathing for no more than 10 seconds. Remember, gasping is not breathing. It is a sign of cardiac arrest. This quick check is your green light. It tells you exactly what you need to do next, without any confusion or hesitation. There is no need for complex equipment at this stage. If there is no pulse or the person is only gasping, your third and most critical step is to start high-quality chest compressions immediately. Push hard and fast in the center of the chest. This action is the cornerstone of bystander CPR. It is what keeps the person alive. While you do this, ensure that someone is getting an AED. As soon as it arrives, use it. The combination of early CPR and early defibrillation is the most effective treatment for sudden cardiac arrest. These actions form a powerful 1-2 punch against what would otherwise be a fatal event. Your hands become the person's heartbeat, and the AED becomes the tool to restart it. It is important to understand why we stress these simple steps and warn against distractions like checking SpO2. In an emergency, simplicity is key. Trying to use a pulse oximeter on a person with no circulation will give you false information, and worse, it will steal time. That time is priceless. The blood oxygen level will inevitably be low in cardiac arrest, and confirming that fact does not change what you need to do. The problem is not just low oxygen, the problem is zero blood flow. The only solution for that is to start pushing on the chest. The core message is to prioritize circulation first. In the end, your role as a bystander is to be a bridge between the moment of collapse and the arrival of advanced medical care. By following these simple steps, check responsiveness, check pulse and breathing, call for help and start CPR, you are building that bridge. You do not need to be a doctor or a paramedic to save a life. You just need to be willing to act. Knowing that gasping is a sign of cardiac arrest and that immediate chest compressions are the answer empowers you to be a hero in a moment of crisis. Your quick, decisive actions can give someone the ultimate gift, a second chance at life.